What T.I. is proposing, he has to understand, in my opinion, that the NFL has every right to sit up there and say, if you're not protesting against us, why should we allow this to be our problem? And when you ask the question of direct impact, ultimately, I think people want their football on Sundays unless you do something to offend them. And if they're able to point to the NFL and say, what I'm saying, this really wasn't their issue, they really weren't the ones being protested, I don't think that anything is going to transpire that's going to force them to say, I'm not going to watch football. I can't see that happening. I just can't.
Right. The NFL is patronized because it is an awesome product. That's why people watch.
Right.
Okay, and so they have that going for them.
Yeah.
What motivates the NFL's behavior, Stephen A.? NFL owners and
dollars.
Dollars, the bottom line. Yeah. They have no moral compass other than the bottom line. They're a corporation. You know why corporations need to be regulated? Because they're not immoral or moral. They're amoral. Right. They want money. Like a shark wants to eat. They want money. That's the nature of it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Right. Nothing. There's some
good
that comes of it, a little bad that comes of it. More good than bad, I would argue. But there's both sides. Okay. Right. The NFL is corporate. Their bottom line motivates behavior.
Okay.
And by the way, you rely on individuals having their own moral compass at times to overcome the fact that the corporation really doesn't care.
Okay.
Individuals in those corporate positions. TV ratings and corporate sponsorships is what make it go round in the NFL. Will this affect TV ratings or corporate sponsorships? On the surface, the answer is no. I don't think it will. Not really, not much.
I think ratings it will, not sponsors.
However, it doesn't have to for it to have the appearance that it's having. Look, why are NFL ratings down, really? Cord cutting. Technology is changing. All of TV is down, except First Take. We're up. But everyone else is down. Across TV, this is how it is, because there are a million different delivery systems for content nowadays. And instead of just facing that new reality and figuring that out, people want to point all over it's because of the anthem protests, it's concussions. Those things do play a little role, but a minor role. It is no longer, it's still the biggest shared experience we have in this country, the NFL, but it's not what it once was because of a changing world.
No, here's what I need to challenge both of you on one thing, or you're not done with your point. Go ahead.
So that is the premise. So why might this, even if it doesn't affect ratings, really? Why? Because if it can create the perception that it's affecting ratings, just as the perception was created that the protest was affecting ratings, it will have some kind of effect.
But what do you think T.I., what do you think the impact of T.I., T.I.'s boycott is, what do you think the impact's going to be?
I don't know that T.I.'s specific boycott will do anything.
Okay.
But if this is one brick in the wall, if this catches fire or if others start the same sort of movement, for example, until Kaepernick has a job, people don't want to watch, it could have an effect.
I think it will affect the ratings, and here's why, Stephen A., and this is what I want to challenge you on. As far as the traditional NFL fan base, no, they're going to watch Sunday. It's religion. They're going to be there. The people that already were supporting Colin Kaepernick, I think now will turn off their TVs. If they were on the fence, the people behind him, now they're over it and they're done. And I think that does affect the ratings.
I don't think it's going to happen. I understand.
You haven't heard people say they're not watching the NFL anymore, personally, friends?
I don't believe them. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Let me tell you what I don't believe. Here's where I think you would have a point. I think more people will turn off the NFL because of concussions than because of this Colin Kaepernick issue.
There's that too.
Because the concussion issue, I've run across a lot of people, obviously most of them female, who are of the mindset this concussion issue and seeing how it's raked through the NFL, the kind of effects that it's had on former players, present players, it really, really bothers them. Now, to me, I think that could end up having more of an effect. Again, I think T.I., his points would be far more profound if the protests were directly against the NFL because the NFL has been in opposition to Kaepernick from Jump Street. But because that's not the NFL, and the NFL is saying, we didn't care until our bottom line was being affected.
No, but let's stop right there.
Sure, go ahead.
And this answers your question.
And they believe that, though. Go ahead.
That's the thing. It doesn't matter whether their bottom line is actually affected. They just need to have the perception that it's affected. Because we all know, and the research of this is not definitive, that the anthem protest, as it's described, affected their ratings negatively, or that those who were put off by the anthem protests were the prime mover of that ratings decline.
You don't think people are going to be more turned off now? I can't believe I'm alone on an island on this.
I think
as long as the NFL owners believe that continued cord cutting and technological changes which result in lower ratings can be attributed to a boycott, then it'll have an effect.
Max, here's where I disagree with you. I don't believe that you're in a position to say that they definitively know better, that it's not affecting their bottom line. During the season, when Jerry Jones called the Cowboys into a meeting, he literally looked at everyone and said, this is a business meeting.
Yeah.
And tried to make the point that the bottom line was being compromised.
I'm saying the owners have to believe it's true.
But I'm saying they believe, that's right, they believe it's true.
Right.
So if they believe it's true, they're the ones that get the numbers.
Right.
And if they believe it's true, Max, then guess what it is?
This is what I'm saying. If the boycott doesn't actually have an effect on ratings, let's say it's cord cutting that actually has an effect. But the owners are not smart enough to understand that correlation does not equal causality, right? And they say, oh, look, our ratings are down and there's a boycott, then it'll have an effect.
Max, you've sat here on this set and you've applauded the business brilliance of Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
He would know the difference. He would know. Come on, Max.
No.
He would know the difference in terms of his bottom line.
He's not
his bottom line. Come on, but Max,
Can't
it's
it be
his bottom line.
narrative as well? Can't he be pushing a narrative as well?
Yeah, he could.
So
that's a very valid point. But what I'm trying to say is, if you're pushing the narrative, that doesn't mean you don't believe it's true.
Right, because there's a confirmation bias if it conforms to your own way of thinking.
Just like I think people are shutting their TVs off this season.
Which is another reason for more diversity at the ownership level in the NFL.
Absolutely. That is true.
We shall see.